Welcome! Today is our 8th installment of my video blog on exer-gaming for seniors, which I conduct a research study at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. My name is Annerieke Heuvelink. I'm from TNO, a Dutch institute doing applied scientific research. And today I'd like to update you on some of the results that we found. Because last time I told you about that the participants were finished. They've done their 12 weeks of exer-gaming as much as they wanted, or if they didn't want to, they didn't exer-game. And I've got data before they started at baseline, but also midterm and also at the end. And now we've been putting all that information in Excel, and I've been doing MATLAB analysis to see what are actually the predictors that we have there and the correlations that we find, and what's the story we can tell. What's very interesting, I think, is that from previous research, especially for elderly people doing physical exercise, we know that there are different determinants for starting with exercising and then actually maintaining it over a period of time and keep doing it even after, for example, a certain intervention has stopped. So also for us, it's the question like, who are the people that actually start playing those active games, and then who keeps playing, or maybe who's dropping out, and then who kept playing even after we said it's finished, you've done your 12 weeks, but you can keep playing. And we do indeed find significant differences between those groups of people. For example, the first group, people who went to the training and they got the introduction, but never came by themselves to play. Who are those people? It turns out these are the people which had the lowest basic mobility, so they were not as good in doing chair stands and walking, because those were the physical measures that we took in the beginning. But they were also not very proficient with computers. Most of them didn't have a computer or hardly used the computers. So at this moment, with the current numbers, we do not know what was the main determinant for their behavior, but we can find that people who are lower mobility and lower computer literacy are not very likely to start doing these active games by themselves. Then the people who did start and kept and played, some people kind of dropped out, they didn't come back anymore at all, or they came more in the beginning and then kind of slowed down and didn't come as much anymore. And other people just kept coming. And if you look at those two groups, you see a big difference between them was the actually enjoyment that they report on doing this activity. Which makes total sense, right? Often in research you kind of establish things which are common sense. If you enjoy something, you will keep doing it. If you don't enjoy it as much, well, you might go back to the gym, or you might stop doing it, play bridge instead, whatever they prefer. And then, of the group of people who played during the intervention, those 12 weeks that we said you can play whenever you want, kept playing even after we kind of finished it all up. We've said we'll never talk to you again, good luck with your life, but we just kept the space open to them. Half of them kept coming back. And those people mentioned in the final interview that it was very valuable for them. It was either valuable because they really got physical exercise out of it, they really played the games with high impact, so they were jumping, moving, so they really got their activities out of that, playing those games. Other people really report a high enjoyment, and they just really liked the social activity that they did together with others to kind of get out of the house and have a good time. So right now, all these findings, the significance of it, we have to write it up, publish a paper, and so far so good. Now, for my personal insight in living in America, I have been quite intrigued with my own physical activity behavior while coming here. And with here, I don't mean just America, I mean coming to the Mayo Clinic, where everybody is very well aware of the importance of being physically healthy, but also sleeping well, eating well, all those aspects. And Mayo Clinic makes people aware by having a healthy living program, which entails emails, brochures, but also the so-called Dan Abraham Healthy Living Center, which is basically a big space where there's a swimming pool, exercise rooms, walking course, classrooms, where as employees you can go and do your exercise. And that environment, creating the awareness how important it is, but also make it very easy for people to work out because it's affordable, there are great classes with great instructors, great machines. It really helps, really stimulates. So I discovered, for example, Pilates Sculpt, which is basically a lot of strength training, which I never did before. But it feels good, you really notice that you're working on your muscles. And realizing that, I also hear that back from my participants, right? If you do something you actually feel it's working for you, that's motivating. Another thing I found is that it's very easy for me to do a lot of exercise here because I've got a lot of time on my hands. Of course you're busy with work, but my personal life, moving here and not knowing many people, you've got a lot of time in the evenings to kind of go and work out. While back home, I would prefer to have dinner with friends than to go to the exercise class. Maybe you recognize that. And actually, even from my participants in my study, I've heard that one of the biggest barriers why they didn't came more often was the time they have available. So that's a big one. How to kind of balance your time, the importance of physical activity, the importance of doing other things. But in general, I can say that being at Mayo made me more aware, and having these great facilities around made me more active than I was normally in winter. Because in the summer, it's easy. I just go outside, I'll bike. But in winter, it's hard to motivate yourself. And Mayo Clinic has done a good job, so it's been an interesting experience to see how it influences me and people around me. Thank you for watching this installment on my project on exer-gaming for the elderly. Next time will be the 9th installment and will be my last video, as my project is finished. I'm wrapping up. So I'll hope to see you then with my final insights.